My first ever booking fee was $3.99, mate. It's nothing. I played for free a lot of the time when I was like 18. Yeah, just probably like 50 quid or something. I had a couple residencies around London. One for a club night in Yo-Yo in West London at Notting Hill Arts Club, and then forward at Plastic People when I used to work for Rinse back in the day as an intern. And I'm pretty sure I'd maybe like 50 quid or something like that. Nothing. My ride has tamed down, to be fair, in the last few years. It used to be like classic bottles of this, that and the other. But yeah, I started playing football again about 8 years ago. And more recently, like the team, we're in the National League and turned semi-pro. So over the years, I've kind of calmed down a little bit on the rider stance. The ride is mainly for my mates now, to be fair. So my ride is quite boring now, to be fair. Barocca, fruit, sparkling water, still water. And if my mates come, then I'll put in an order for some champagne or whatever. But most interesting thing on my rider is a football shirt if I'm playing outside of the UK. And I had to put that on there later because one time I played a show for Defected actually in North London, and George, the head of events here, decided it'd be really funny for him to get me a Tottenham shirt, which obviously. Have I had any diva moments? I like to think not, but maybe I'm the wrong person to ask. I don't think so. The one thing I get a little bit annoyed about sometimes is I have a riser on my technical rider because I'm short. I'm like 5'1", 5'2", and so like sometimes if they don't have it, I'm like, come on guys, because usually the booth is like obviously mostly made for dudes who are a lot taller than me. But when I used to play like garage raves back in the day with the EZ, if he was on the lineup, I was gassed because it just meant that there was definitely going to be a riser there because he's like the same height as me. I don't remember my first ever fan, but I remember from early there was this group of girls from Liverpool who used to like come to loads of my shows, and they would always be at the front and they would always be an absolute vibe. And I think we was like the same age, like in our early 20s, and they were always like so lovely. So big shouts to, I actually don't know your names, but wherever you are at the moment. And I think they came to my show a couple of years ago at Glastonbury because my partner was in the crowd. And I think one of them turns to my partner and was like, "Are you Monki's bed?" And she told me about it afterwards that they were there. But yeah, I don't remember any particular fan. That was an awful Scouse accent, by the way, sorry, apologies. I remember the first time my USBs broke, like during a set. And actually, the first time I properly lost my USB stick was Miami Music Week, probably like 2018 or something. And I was basically at a gas station and I was going to my set and I like put my headphone bag down. Like, you know when you're paying up for petrol or whatever, I put it down like next to me and then paid and then like turned around and it was gone. And basically some guy just jacked it when I weren't looking and I was like, what do I do now? So I basically had to call all my mates and be like, I've got no music and I'm like halfway to the show, can anyone sort me out? Because I didn't really have time to go back to my hotel, get my laptop, buy a USB stick, So yeah, a couple of mates sorted me out. Yeah, that was a panic mode. My first ever big booking, yeah, was probably for Annie Mac at Coco. At Annie Mac Presents, and I just turned 18, and I remember she asked me to play warm-up set, and I was actually on holiday that day, and so I cancelled my holiday, and obviously I was never going to miss that. I went and yeah, flew back to England for it. So that was my first proper big set. I was shitting myself the whole time. I'm pretty sure I had like my whole set written on a bit of A4 bit of paper and like sat next to me or something. So yeah, that was my first proper gig, I guess.
Did it go well?
It did go well. I mean, like I was literally playing to no one. As like the doors opened, it like slowly filled up. But I would say that was probably my first set where I was like on a big lineup. My first set in front of like a lot of people was probably like a festival or something. Maybe like it was Bestival actually. R.I.P. Bestival, one of the best festivals ever. That was on the Big Bell tent. I can't remember what it was called, and that was probably about, I think there was probably about 6,000 or 7,000 people in there. But yeah, I had a few drinks, so I had a bit of Dutch courage, I felt fine. I was excited. I think big crowds and small venues, they're just like completely different sort of experience. I love them for very different reasons. Like, I love small and intimate venues because it kind of feels like that's where I first started and where most people first started, and you're kind of just like in a corner and you can sort of concentrate more on giving people the experience. Whereas like when you're sat on a big stage, I guess you're more of like be seen as an entertainer sometimes. But I enjoy both. I enjoy both. Obviously they're both a buzz for different reasons. So I think it's good to have a balance of like both through the year. But I tell you what, I do love day parties. Love day parties. Yeah, so the first record I remember hearing on the radio that made me, basically I quit college the next day. I was like, nah, I need to give this a go. Was actually the Scream remix of LaRue, Going In For The Kill. And I heard it on Radio 1 on a Friday night. And I was just like, what is this? This is amazing. And yeah, I'd been toying with the idea for a little while, and then the next day I was just like, right, I'm sacking this economics BTEC off. I'm gonna give it a go. So yeah, Scream back in the day was like a big inspiration, like sonically for sure.